friends. I'm your host, Dr. Dave Layton, and thank you for joining me in our journey to hope. It is my desire through this podcast to bring you information about how to discover, sustain, or perhaps regain hope.
In this episode, I'm speaking with a new friend, Ashley Pharr. Ashley is part of a wonderful organization. It helps people that are facing challenges in their hope. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us about what she does. Hello, Ashley.
Hi.
Well, welcome to the show, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much. Well, let's get started by you telling the audience a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about this incredible organization that you're a part of.
Hey, thanks for having me. So I live in small town Alabama. In Excel, we have one caution light, as I tell everybody.
I know where you are.
There you go. So my husband was Air Force and now is a corporate pilot. So he flies from our little town to Panama City to where the jet is, and he takes his people where they need to go. So we've always been in aviation. We love to travel. We love our family. We have 3 kids. And so we've always been up here at this airport, which is how I kind of found out about Pilots for Christ and where it all began.
Okay. So is he retired Air Force?
He is not. He served for 10 years.
Okay. Great. Well, I retired from the Air Force way back in 1996. I was finishing up my career at Maxwell. I was part of that group that helped move Maxwell from San Antonio there at Lackland Air Force Base to Maxwell back in 93. And we've lived here ever since. So
that is awesome. Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, hey, and you too, by the way. We often thank the guys and those ladies that served active duty, and I appreciate that. But our spouses, were incredible for us. So thank you for that. Well, all right, enough of that. Let's get into our business here. It is good to know, like your husband and you take the experiences that you had in the service and now use those in other ways. I did that as well. Tell us about Pilots for Christ. That's what we want to know.
Well, Pilots for Christ was here long before I was ever here. So we are now in our 32nd year.
32 years.
Right here in Monroeville, Alabama. And so it started out of Lee Motor Company, a car dealership.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mr. Tommy Lee, who is still flying with Pilots for Christ today, which is just an amazing God story, had a heart for aviation and for flying cancer patients. And so 32 years ago, out of a car dealership that he owned, they would fly, 1 or 2 patients every 6 to 8 months. I mean, this started very small. They would fly a patient and a caregiver for free to their cancer treatments or to a surgery. They have stories of people that their kids were in accidents and they were life-flighted, and so they would fly their family to go be with them. I mean, just all kind of crazy God stories. Well, that began 32 years ago. So fast forward, I've been with Pilots for Christ about 5 years. Last year, we flew 800 flights.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes. I just kind of paused right there because we're just in the mix of it. And so it just amazes me every time I say it.
Takes your breath away.
It does. And all of those flights are full. So I have the King Air. If you can see the twin engine plane behind me, this is our main plane. And right now we're flying every other day. So yesterday was our flight day. So we took out 3 patients and 3 of their caregivers absolutely free of charge. We brought those to Houston. They got out of the plane, and we picked up the 3 patients and their caregivers that we had brought out earlier last week.
Okay, now these are all domestic flights?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So around this rural area, a lot of our patients go to MD Anderson in Houston.
Uh-huh.
We've flown to many other areas in the United States, but Houston is just the main area right now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, when I was in cancer treatment, I had leukemia, and I was blessed that my treatment center is about 2 miles from my house. Uh,
yeah,
But but that's not always the case, and people need not only the care, they need it in a timely way.
you're
And
so right.
everything about cancer treatment is has the potential to be very prohibitive. So there you are. You're stepping in the gap on something. We can get you the care, but you got to
Yeah,
get there. Yeah.
right.
Wow. So you've talked about how it started. That's amazing. Now, what was the gentleman's name that started it again?
So Tommy Lee.
Okay. And so he was a pilot. I tell people, and I repeat myself when I say this because there's so many opportunities for it to come up. It's yet again an example of a couple of things that I'm passionate, or really three things I'm passionate about there. Number one, you're using what you have in your hands. That's what I talk about. I refer back to when Moses was on Mount Sinai and God's commissioned him to go back um, to Israel, to Egypt, and finally he's making excuses, and God says, "What's in your hands?" And that's what this gentleman did. The other thing is, we need to let people know that you are not alone. You
Yes.
are not alone. There's people and resources. We just got to be able to find them, reach out, let people know. And so you're doing that. And the third thing that I'm passionate about is you want to find hope. If you feel like your hope is challenged, then get out of yourself and start doing something for somebody else, and it'll turn around real quick. So I hear all of that in that amazing story. That's great. So what do? You yourself, for
Well, so
college?
I was a stay-at-home mom for 14 years. We actually homeschooled our kids.
Okay.
And so they slowly transitioned into school. And so they're all there now. But in the meantime, my best friend got cancer.
Uh-huh.
So she was around my age, 40-ish. And it just
Close
really,
enough.
it really, so walking through it, you know people that have cancer, but you don't know what they're going through until
Yeah.
you're close to someone, until it happens to you. And
Mhm.
so I just kept saying to my friend, number one, we are going to pray. We're going to pray you through this because we know God is our healer, and he can heal us miraculously, instantly. He can heal us through medicine. And then he can heal us, when it's our time to go home, it's our time, and we're healed
That's right.
instantly in heaven. And so we just started praying, and I thought, Lindsay, there's this ministry called Pilots for Christ, and my husband's flown with them before, and I don't know how it works, but we'll get in touch with Tommy Lee. And so thankfully, she never had to use Pilots for Christ, and she is healed and doing amazing. But every time I'd pass the hanger, I just started praying, God, if there's something I'm supposed to do for this ministry, in my mind, I thought I could volunteer, I could serve on the board. I wasn't really looking for a job or a
Hmm.
position. And so I happened to come to the hangar, and I sat down with Tommy Lee. And before I knew it, I was in front of the president of Pilots for Christ, it's a volunteer position on our board. And he's setting up my email, and I'm like, wait, I don't know if I'm ready for all of this. But I finally just said yes. So my job was very small when I started. In fact, almost 5 years ago, we were doing maybe 400 flights a year, which is still a lot,
Yeah.
but they were few and far between where we would actually go pick up the patients and take them. So I actually never got to meet them. And I thought, man, it's really kind of quiet around here. I was just kind of raised to, are brought on to do some fundraising and some marketing and just kind of working a few hours here and there. Well, about 6 months after I started, I don't know what happened. I don't know if more people found out about us or the need grew. But like I said, we jumped from 400 flights to like 700, then 750, and now we're at 800 and more. So right now my job is really a lot because I'm the only one that lives here locally that works in the office because Mr. Tommy is busy flying. And so I'm here when the patients leave. We pray for them. And I do a lot of the fundraising and the speaking still, but I do a little bit of the administration work. And so it just kind of, it encompasses everything that I do a lot that the ministry needs behind the scenes, we'll say that, to keep it up and going.
Right.
So really every year it's constantly changing my job description.
But it's a fluid position, I understand.
Yes.
Well, that brought up a question in my mind about how many people are involved with Pilots for Christ.
So we have 4 board members, and two are locally, but we have several that are in Baldwin County, and Fairhope and Spanish Fort. And then I'm looking at we have a big organization chart on our wall. So we have 58 volunteers.
Okay. 58 volunteers.
Yes. And so I am constantly having to call on someone to be where I can't be, or come here when I can't pray, or, just to help with fundraising and dinners and all the things. So 58 faithful volunteers.
How many aircraft?
So this is our main workhorse. So those 800 flights are mainly this King Air, but also if we need to put someone on a commercial flight, we can do that, especially children that need to go to Boston or Pennsylvania. So, that's not very economical for this plane. And we like to be able to fly a child with their mom and dad.
Sure.
And so when we fly out of here, we only fly the patient and one caregiver free of charge. So, and a lot of times they're with, like I said, they're with other patients. So yeah, all of that combined. And then we have 2 board members that have a plane of their own with their businesses, and they do a few flights for us throughout the year.
Okay. So there's so much that goes on within an organization that we don't know about, but one specifically like yours, there's some unique challenges. I mean, immediately that comes to mind is things like maintenance on the aircraft. You got to keep that thing airworthy. There's, FAA regulations everywhere. So there's that. The crew that has to be a part of it, all the support people. So 58 may seem like a lot, but in reality, like you say, sometimes you have to look around for somebody to help you out with something.
Yes, and the maintenance is a huge part. So about 2 years after I started, we needed to replace both engines. So you sound like you know aviation. I'm talking about the maintenance a little bit. So you probably know about as much as me. But these 2 engines, we had an estimate, called in, and that was $918,000. So we're talking about we need $1 million pretty quick, because this thing can't sit in here or our patients can't get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
And so we immediately, number one, we start praying, because when I tell you this story, you're going to realize our mission verse is like yours. To God be the glory, right? All of this is done for His glory. And this story is so big that there's no way small town Ashley Pharr is doing any of this. It is all just God working through myself and our volunteers and our flight coordinator, which I'll talk about in a minute. But $918,000, we had to go ahead and take out a small loan for that in the amount of, I think, $630,000. And so we took out a loan. Tommy Lee had to sign for it. So I think he was kind of sweating through his shirt a little bit. But we got those engines put on, and we had a meeting, a celebration, I will say, 30 days after taking out that loan, because in those 30 days, God brought in the entire amount, and we were able to pay off that loan in 30 days.
I tell people.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I just, it just, when I was in it, I mean, the money, obviously I do a lot of the deposits and stuff, and it would be like a $30 check, a $50 check in multiples, stacks. We would have fundraisers like grilling hot dogs and hamburgers, and would bring in literally thousands from that. And so looking back at it, it was a whirlwind, but it's such a miracle that I don't want to forget that.
Oh, yeah. I, I, I tell people, my wife and I travel a lot, and we'll pray before we take off on a trip. And I'll say, well, we got here safely, but I'm not surprised. That's what we prayed for.
Right.
So, but it does sometimes take our breath away when we see something remarkable. I like that you classified 630,000 as a small loan.
Right. In aviation, that's just a small
Yeah,
amount sometimes.
yeah. Before I retired, I was the associate director for career and technical education here in the state of Alabama for our two-year college system. And
Yeah.
so I worked with faculty all over the state, helping them develop their curriculum and their education programs. And one of them was the aviation program at Enterprise, and also at Fort Rucker with a helicopter. So when I say I know a little bit about aircraft, I can talk about it. Don't put me near one to do anything except ride in it, but I can talk about it. I understand a lot that goes on behind it. So yeah, especially those FAA regulations, they can be amazing. So okay, that's great. I mean, it's a wonderful story. Again, it's somebody who says, well, what can I do? Wait a minute, I can fly, and I know people that need to get somewhere. So what can I do? And so that's great. Now, I'd like to know from you, and I think I already know the answer, but I'd like to talk about first your insights and your concept of hope, because that's such an amazing word and so critical to life. So talk to me a little bit about the idea of hope.
Well, I think you said it at the beginning that we're not alone.
Yeah.
And we know we're never alone, right? If we've given over our life to Jesus, the Holy Spirit is living in us, guiding us. So we're never alone. But it's easy to forget that when you're going through something horrible. And it's also people are walking alone if they don't know Jesus. So obviously we don't ask people, we are pilots for Christ, but obviously we don't say, hey, are you a Christian? If so, please come through our doors and let us serve you. Obviously, we're just serving people.
Right.
At all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds. And so you really get to know their story. And what I love about this ministry is that we have a prayer team, and we're actually getting ready to start a caregiver team. So the patient has a prayer partner that prays with them through their entire journey. Because we don't just fly these people one time and say good luck. I mean, we're flying them as much as they need us to.
And you get to know them.
Yes. I mean, like they become your family.
Well, I was going to say, I volunteer at our local cancer center to help patients. And I comment to people all the time, you cannot help but love these folks. You just come to know them and love them, and that's just part of it. So you're doing the same thing. So please, I want to know more about that caregiver team, but go ahead with what you're talking about.
Yeah, so every patient receives a prayer partner, like I said, and many times they're here to pray with them, along with myself and Mr. Tommy's wife. If they're flying in at lunchtime, we try to have food for them, because a lot of them have to drive to, Birmingham or Orange Beach or Auburn. And so they've got a little bit of a drive. And so we're trying to take care of that need as well.
Okay.
But the caregiver team was actually an idea of our president's wife, Susan Ayers. She saw a need for the caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, why have we we pray for that caregiver and we talk to that caregiver, but honestly, sometimes their job is harder than the patient, because they can't fix it and they can't sometimes understand it. And so now we have been meeting every Monday morning with our new team that we've developed, and we are coming up with a caregiver program. And so we're getting that off the ground and running. And we're just super excited to see where God's going to take that. Many times our patients are healed, but sometimes they're not. And we have to also deal with deaths in this ministry. So right now we lose 3 to 4 patients a month. We have a memorial board, and so when we lose a patient, their name is engraved and put on our hanger wall. and will be there for forever. But that's really hard. And I don't have a lot of answers for all of that. So all we can do is walk alongside them. And so we're developing a program to see them through this caregiving process. But if it does happen where they find themselves in that situation, we're going to walk through them through that grief as well.
You know, you're bringing up something that I also bring up to folks. I talk about the concept of hope and how I work with hope. You and I understand very clearly that true and lasting hope is through our Lord Jesus Christ. But sometimes people are in the moment and they're not receptive as they would be about hearing the gospel. They have a situation that needs to be addressed. We get them where we would like to go, but we take care of their needs. And so you're providing a holistic approach, not just the spiritual aspect of it, but the physical things, the secular things we're taking care of as well. And you know, sometimes what is that old saying? I don't care what you know until I know that you care. And so we take care of folks as we can. Yeah. And we don't check ID cards at the gate. Nope.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, oh man, that is some amazing stuff. I'm going to put contact information on the show notes about Pilots for Christ so that they can get a hold of you. But one of the things that I know that you need, it's a wonderful ministry, but it does cost. I'm sorry, there's a dollar amount attached to it. And so how can someone help in that regard as far as helping with maybe I want to make a donation or, hey, an endowment? Why not? So what are some things they can do?
So our website is pilotsforchrist.net.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two very important things on that website. Number one, if someone needs to request a flight, that's where they would go and literally just click request a flight. And there's just a form you have to fill out, and it goes to our flight coordinator, who does an amazing job of planning all of this to make every dollar count.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is to make a donation.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do that right there online, or you can mail in a check, and our mailing address and everything is on that website.
Okay.
And people still do mail-in checks. They do.
Yeah.
And so, but I would say donating money to this ministry, you literally see your dollars at work within sometimes the same day you donate. Like I said, we're flying every other day. So if it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, then we start over the next week with Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So it's constantly flowing. And I do believe in giving to worthy causes, because I know that whatever God has called me to give, whether it be my time or my money or just prayers, he's going to bless that. And so you just can't outgive God. And we've seen that take place in this ministry. But, you know, when he gives you an idea to do something, it's his idea. It's his thing. So he's going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And we've just seen it happen so many times. So we never really worry about the finances, because we know we're letting people know. That's what you have to do, is let people know the need. And then God just lays it on people's hearts to give, and the blessings just flow to us and to that person.
Okay.
So.
Good. Well, it's an ongoing need. And I like what you said, that you don't worry about it. It is something you have to pay attention to, but it's not something that you're going to worry and stress about, because, again, Paul said, if God is for us, who can be against us? And so that's the situation as well. Anything else we need to know?
I guess just people do ask me. I mean, obviously we are a 501c3.
Okay.
We do not receive any government money. So there's no money coming in from the government. Only through individuals, churches, businesses, and fundraisers is how this thing happens. And then I think lastly, I would like to, so our patients tell us that, wow, they didn't know about us and they've been driving to Houston for 6 months. And what a burden. I mean, just stories of like people work. So they have to take off work to drive 12 to 14 hours to Houston and then stay for their appointments and then drive all the way. I mean, can you imagine? I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
So honestly, they're just so unbelievably grateful because when they get on this plane, it's 2 hours to Houston.
Okay.
And there are no delays. There are no cancellations. I mean, unless, something really does happen with the weather, but it's not like a commercial flight where you're walking around to your terminal or you're, having to pack your little shampoos or whatever it may be. You literally come in here and we taxi the plane out and you're in Houston where you need to be in 2 hours. So sometimes, if you need to come back same day, like we can get you back,
Uh-huh.
So just like compressing that time that they're so desperately needing to spend time with their family and to go to work and to do all the things, we're compressing that time.
And when you're a patient and you're hurting and you're worried, whatever, from my house to Houston is probably about 10 hours.
Wow.
And so the idea of that I can be somewhere within a matter of a few hours makes a big difference. I can get there. I can get that care. Okay. Wow. That is amazing. And thank you for sharing it. Thank you for everything. And thank you for all the people involved. Wow. Some things just take your breath away. And it all started with somebody seeing a need and saying, I can do this. And so they did. Ashley, I am amazed. Thank you.
Thank you
Seriously.
for having me.
Okay. Friends, thank you for joining Ashley and I as together we journey to hope. I trust in some small way we have encouraged you to discover, sustain, or regain hope through this effort. I invite you to contact me if you have any questions or comments, or if you wish to share with me something you've experienced in your journey to hope. My email is info@ourjourneytohope.com. That's info@ourjourneytohope.com. And please share this podcast with someone whose hope is being challenged. I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Again, I'm Dr. Dave Layton, and thank you for listening. And until our next episode, remember, we give all glory to God our Father.